are light-skinned men with lighter color eyes outside of brown, always broke, and always trying to live off of a woman. Am I the only one who notices that? Like, every time I see a really light-skinned guy, who's obviously not white or whatever, and he has, like, hazel or green or blue or whatever eyes, I automatically feel like he's, like, broke.
Man, listen. I tell all the time, light-skinned dudes, we always get people's insecurities thrown on us. They lie about us to basically marginalize us. And I'm not saying this is not her experience, but you'll notice when light-skinned men do something, it hurts these females a million times more than another group of men do it. For example, if a dark-skinned guy is broke, which is very common, and taking advantage of women who are undesirable, that's very common. And it's very common with women like her who date black men who see them as easy licks to get with these men. And it basically backfires on them pretty much. All right. But the only people who agree with you is black in the comment section is black women who are desperate, who made terrible decisions, and men, especially black men specifically. They chose degenerate black males, dark-skinned black males specifically, and they marginalized themselves throughout their younger years. And they did everything in their power to heal the insecurities of those men, including attacking light-skinned men and pushing light-skinned men away. But then they got older and they don't necessarily want to date interracially. Not only that, they can't date interracially because those men are not interested in them. So now they need a guy who's going to be emergency dick for them. So now they're trying to make light-skinned men be the emergency dick for them. To the point where they'll lie and make up stories saying that they have these experiences with these light-skinned guys. Well, we all know for a fact light-skinned men don't even speak to black women. All right, we don't even speak to these females unless we're like really forced to in real life. But it just amazes me. And you'll notice how they don't have expectations when it comes to black men. It's about dark-skinned black men, because these be the same females who talk about how they love fixer-upper men, especially fixer-upper dark-skinned men. And then you'll notice, and it's funny because this dark-skinned guy did a video I talk about all the time in my videos about how he was bragging about how we can do no wrong, us as dark-skinned men. We can be evil. We can be nice and clean-cut. We can be corny. We can do no wrong in these women's eyes. But if a light-skinned dude does something wrong, all of a sudden they want to kill him. He was bragging about this stuff, but they get with these men, these broke dark-skinned guys who just got out of jail, but they don't never talk bad about them. But let's keep going.
And looking for a woman to take care of him. I'm ready to get cursed out. I know there's some people who's probably going to be offended. I don't know what y'all about to call me. Prejudice. I don't know what.
So you don't see other groups of men doing that, especially with black men, when they be with fat white girls, taking advantage of fat white women, light-skinned girls with identity disorders, who want to be hood. You don't see them doing that with other groups of men. All right, she must got... She probably just not attracted to black men of a darker hue, but either that or she got one in the background who's instructing her to say this. She probably got one of these dark-skinned niggas in the background. He probably like, baby, please get on camera and talk bad about them light-skinned pretty niggas and talk about how they need women to take care of them and all this other BS. Who knows? But this woman, to me, she just comes off as scorn because she did videos like this before, and I feel like this had been her experience with. This is New York. Like, New York is full with scammers. They're known for, let's say, being filled with scammers and people who take advantage of people. And so this probably is her experience. But how can you just throw that on a couple light-skinned dudes that you done met? But let's keep going.
Word suits that, but I know y'all gonna find one because y'all always do. But just from experience, and I don't really date light-skinned men that much. I did when I was younger, but I don't really have a thing for them or anything. But even just talking to them as a friend, I just noticed that's what it is. Like, for example, when I was in high school, so for all my teenage years, I was with my first. Me and him, bro.
And y'all notice how these females, in order to find dirt on light-skinned dudes, they have to make up. I'm not saying she's making this up, but you'll notice how they have to go all the way back to kindergarten and shit in order to find a story about light-skinned dudes. Well, I got rejected by a light-skinned dude back when I was in pre-K. And I still think about it every day, like, damn. Because these females, like, we don't really be talking to these females for real. And they notice, and I feel like that's what her problem is that, she can't really get attention from a light-skinned guy. She probably can't get attention from them, And that's probably what she's mad about. At least not to the degree that she wants. So let's keep going.
Woke up, I think for like less than a month before, and I started like dating this kid in my school, in my high school. He was like around my complexion, and he had like hazel greenish eyes, right? I dated him for maybe 2 weeks tops. Long story short, years later, I run into him on my way to work. This is like maybe 2 or 3 years after high school. I see him walking a girl to the train station, and then after she gets on the train, he turns to me. He's like, "You want me to drive you to work?" I'm like, "All right," but I'm thinking like, so why didn't you drive that girl to her destination? As soon as he drives me to work and we get to the my job, before I get out, he's like, "Can I have like $20 for gas?" I'm like, "No, you cannot." He's like, "What about $10?" No. Then I'm seeing this post going viral of this light-skinned guy with green eyes or whatever color looking for a place to stay. I don't know if he's joking, but it doesn't seem like he does. It doesn't seem like he's joking.
I think I know she's talking about some light-skinned guy. I think he was I think I know what she's talking about. Some light-skinned guy. I think he had dreads. And black women were going crazy over him. And I guess black women were throwing themselves at this light-skinned guy. And that irritates her. The fact that, these light-skinned black guys be with these dark-skinned girls. Which I rarely see light-skinned guys with black women. I always see them with non-black. That's me personally. And when I go out, I see them with non-black women. Or maybe a light-skinned girl. Sometimes they're with darker women, but it's extremely rare. But she gets very jealous. Or, she gets trauma when she sees that pairing between light-skinned men and specifically light-skinned, even though she's not a light-skinned black herself. I think she's like Trinidadian or something. But she gets very triggered when she sees that pairing between light-skinned men and dark-skinned women. Which is, because I think she claimed that she had her ex-boyfriend was light, and maybe this could have happened to her, But let's keep going.
I've never met an American light-skinned guy. I'm talking about who's not Caribbean, who's not Hispanic, who's not African, I never met an American light-skinned guy with hazel green, none of that. I never met a light-skinned guy with lighter eyes who was normal. There's always something going on with them. I just don't trust them. Is it?
And she said that in the last video how she didn't trust light-skinned guys. But she's talking about light-skinned black American men who have light-complected eyes. But I want y'all to stay on the second part of the video that she did. It's get real interesting and very disrespectful. But you could tell that she's kind of scorned at light-skinned men for something. Maybe she wants light-skinned dudes to pay her more attention, to approach her more. Who knows? But she's very scorned at these men, When you're a light-skinned person in general, if you're a female or a male, but especially with the men, you'll notice, like, if they have a fetish for light-skinned people, you'll notice if they can't have you, no one can have you. And or if they want to control you for a certain agenda, they'll just go above and beyond with these experiences. But if it's another group of men, they don't really care. Like, if it's a white guy or a dark-skinned guy or whatever, they don't really bring this stuff up. It's only with light-skinned dudes mainly. They do it to dark-skinned men too, but especially with light-skinned guys. But let's see what the part 2, what she says on the other video. But isn't it weird how, like, when they take care of these other groups of men and they feel like they have all the control in the relationship and they don't really say nothing about it for some odd reason. Maybe it's the charisma of certain men or whatever, I don't know. But when it comes to the light-skinned dudes, notice how they hold us to a completely different standard, and they take care of one light-skinned dude, then they just become filled with all this impudence and all this other stuff. But let's listen to what she says on part 2.
I don't care how many teen mom success stories y'all have. Having a baby as a teenager, as a child, would never be. Break this down. Okay, let me break this down really quick.